You're listening to the Word Slinger Podcast, episode 114, Author Education with Ricardo Fayet. This episode of the Word Slinger Podcast is brought to you by Draft to Digital. Convert your manuscript, distribute it online, and get support the whole way at drafttodigital.com.
It's the Word Slinger Podcast, where story matters. Build your brand, write your book, redefine who you are. It's all about the story here. What's yours? Now, here's the guy who invented pants optional, Kevin Tomlinson, the Word Slinger.
Word Slinger.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Tomlinson, the Word Slinger, and you may notice a slight drop in quality. I apologize. So here's the story. I'm in Pittsburgh right now. I'm at the SFWA Nebula Awards. I'm kind of rubbing elbows with some sci-fi authors. Looking forward to meeting some of the big names in sci-fi here. There are folks here from Tor. I talked with some Apple reps yesterday. There's a lot of big names floating around. Also authors, big name authors that I'm looking forward to meeting. So great to be here. And I'm really enjoying the conference. I'm a little tired, I'll be honest with you. But the story of the sound quality here is that though I did bring a microphone, I did not bring a cable to connect said microphone to my computer. So even though I thought I was just brilliantly prepared for this, I'm not. So I'm talking to you through my earbuds. Not the best quality in the world, but we'll muddle through this. We'll get through this together, everyone. So this episode is actually, this is a very cool one. I had a lot of fun interviewing my guest, Ricardo Fayet. I met him at NINC, which is another conference that's just a huge party, really. Just a lot of fun to attend. Lots of authors, lots of brilliant people there. It was great meeting, Ricardo among others, but it's a great show. Now, this interview is going to be eye-opening, I think. There's a resource out there called Reedsy, and I can't wait for you to hear about it. If you're an author, if this is something you're doing, and you're looking for some resources, we're going to be able to help you out with that. Before we get to that, though, I am honored to have a very well-recorded voicemail from Dan. And Dan, I apologize, I'm going to butcher your last name. Dan Absalonson. He pronounces it much better than I do. But I'm glad to have this, and it was very uplifting to me to hear this. So thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate it, man. And I'm sorry that it's kind of funny. Your voicemail is better recorded than this actual episode. So, well, let's play that real quick.
Kevin Tomlinson, Word Slinger. Hey man, this is Dan Absalonson, aka Dan the Art Man. And listen, I just wanted to tell you that your podcast is awesome, and it's helped me a lot. And your book, 30-Day Author, has also been really great. I picked it up shortly after finding you from the 8 Questions podcast from the self-publishing podcast dudes. And then I found Word Slinger in iTunes and started listening. And I just wanted to actually call in and leave a voicemail and let you know that I love the podcast. I've gotten a lot out of it. And your book, I've gotten a ton out of your book. I know I've been listening to writing podcasts pretty much since they've been around. And authors are always saying in interviews, write every day. And I always thought, yeah, that's great, but I don't have time. I have a full-time job, 4 kids, etc. So I just made it a goal to write every day, even if it was only for 5 minutes. And what I found was, even on days where, let's say I was super tired or I just felt like I just can't get any words out today, okay, if I just write 1 sentence, or if I just have like 5 minutes. And every time I start writing, and the words just keep flowing, and I look up from my screen, and it's been like 45 minutes, and I have like 800 words down or something. So, anyways, man, I've been writing every day for a little over 2 months now, and I've only missed, I think, 2 days. and it's just been fantastic. I finished the first draft of a novel I've been working on for way too long, just a few days ago, and I'm ready to jump on the next one, and I'm super excited. So anyways, man, thanks for being an inspiration, and thanks for sharing about your faith. I appreciate that too. And anyways, man, keep up the good work.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that a lot. I First of all, congratulations on the output. I mean, getting back to the keyboard every day isn't always easy, especially when life kind of intrudes. By the way, if you want to check out Dan's work and his podcast, go to dandantheartman.com. That's his website. You can find you can find links to, I believe you can find links to his podcast. I found something that looks like it's a link to his podcast. So go check that out. And you can also kind of check in on his books. Go, download something, read it, give some reviews, man. But to Dan, thanks so much, man. I do appreciate when I get calls like this, by the way. I need them. I think we all need a little boost every now and then. So I'm so happy to hear that the stuff that I'm doing, the work that I'm producing is helping people. It's just on my heart to do that. I'm a writer first. That's my career. The podcast is kind of an extension of that. It was my chance to learn from other people who've mastered the craft. And if I didn't share that, what kind of person would I be? So really, when you're thanking me, you're actually thanking all the guests from this show, all the people that I've talked to over the years have mentored me. There's just an incredible community of people out there who are so giving. And Dan's a good example of this. So thanks so much, Dan. I appreciate it, man. If you would like to leave a voicemail, like Dan recorded his, he's a pro. He's got the gear. He set it all up. But you can actually reach out to me if you do not have the gear. You can go to wordslingerpodcast.com where there's a little tab right on the right-hand side that says send voicemail. You can send me a voicemail right from there, and that seems to work for most people. We've also got a number you can call, 281-809-WORD. That's 281-809-9673. Leave me a voicemail. I'll play it on the air, and I do appreciate hearing from people. If you've got a question for me or my guests, or you just want to say something nice, I will take nice things. If you want to say something not so nice, I understand. Anyway, so thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Okay, now let's get to our guest today. You're gonna love this interview. This guy. So I want to preface this by saying I've met Ricardo a couple of times now. We're connected on Facebook. We've been emailing back and forth. I recently did a video. We're gonna mention something that Reedsy is sponsoring right now that helps bring literacy to the classroom, and I participated in that along with Mark Dawson and Sean Platt and dozens and maybe hundreds of other authors, and you can participate in it too. We'll give you details in this interview, but it was just a quick video to say why I write, and I was glad for that opportunity because I don't get asked that question much, strangely, why I write. I get asked about what I write. As authors, we get asked about things like what's your inspiration, where do you get your ideas, that sort of thing. But the underlying philosophy that we have, the underlying drive that we have, I rarely get asked about that. So it's nice to talk about that. If you want to hear that, I'll try to put a link to that in the show notes. If I can remember to do it, I will do it. But otherwise, you can find the entire raft of these things. You'll find that we're going to have a link here coming up soon. So without delaying any further, I'm going to let you listen in on my conversation with Ricardo Fayet of Reedsy, and then stick around for a little wrap-up at the end. See you there. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Sometimes I meet the coolest people when I'm out and about, and I met this gentleman while I was at NINC in Florida last year. One of the first conferences I went to on behalf of Draft to Digital. So this was a pretty cool conference, but it was equally cool meeting this guy. I'm talking to Ricardo Fayet. He's a co-founder of Reedsy. If you don't know what Reedsy is, we're going to get into that in detail. He's going to be happy to tell you about it. But I can tell you, they're one of the coolest services out there. And Draft Digital, we're buds with them. I like to think of us as buds, Ricardo. So let's jump on in. Thanks for being on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Kevin. And definitely, we had a lot of fun between Draft Digital and Reedsy at the NINC conference.
Yeah. One of the things I really enjoy about you guys, honestly, you share a similar mission to us, is in that you're very supportive of the indie author community. That's, by the way, if anybody's ever looking for a shortcut to Kevin Tumlinson's heart, that's probably it. So you guys start right off with that. In fact, you have an initiative going right now, right? Do you want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, sure. So we have an initiative which we launched just this week, and the idea was to start giving back even as an early stage startup and kind of to go the extra mile to help authors all around the world, actually. So the idea is to fight for children literacy and girls' education in Asia and Africa, and at the same time invite authors to tell us why they write. So the way it works is you just send us a video, 30-second video, if you're an author, about why you write. So it can be just on your phone, you can be outside. We don't really care even about the quality of the video. And for every video which we receive, we donate $10 to Room to Read, which is a really great organization, nonprofit, that's helping children in Asia and Africa with literacy.
That's awesome. And you invited me to do one of these, and I was very happy to do that. You did not feature me the way you did Mark Dawson, but that's okay. I know Mark's a lot cooler than I am, so.
You send your video later.
I know. I was late coming in. Yeah, that's my fault. So, that's great. And I like that you guys are, working toward child literacy is such a big thing. It comes around here all the time. And there are all sorts of programs out there, but it's like you don't see much headway. So I'm always glad to hear people, doing something to contribute. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not much, but we thought, we've been going on for 3 years. And as you said, we're very passionate about the indie community. We're very passionate about educating authors and doing all we can for authors. And obviously there's places and things we can't do. So we're happy to support an organization that's doing those and even raising a little bit of money through a cool initiative, also getting quite a few really amazing videos. And I just pinged my team to let them know that they should feature you a bit more prominently on the landing page.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about Reedsy, man, because you guys you're pretty close to being like a one-stop shop for authors. I'm guessing that's the goal. And there's a tiny bit of overlap with Draft Digital. Maybe we can find ways to play well together. But just give me kind of the breakdown of what Reedsy is and how it helps authors.
Sure. So we're kind of a one-stop shop, but until the point where you guys come in, which is a distribution. So we're kind of a place where you can produce your book and market it afterwards. And what really makes us different is that we're not an agency, or we're not a kind of a company selling packages. We're a marketplace. We're a network of top publishing talent. So you come on Reedsy and you can search for editors in your genre, or cover designers, or illustrators, or book marketers, publicists. And you know that all the people that you're going to find on Reedsy have been vetted by us and really handpicked out of tens of thousands of applicants. We've had 20 to 25,000 applications from freelancers all over the world since we started Reedsy, and we feature 600 on the marketplace. So it's around 3% of people who apply get accepted. And obviously they're all coming from traditional publishing, or they've worked with really good indie authors. You quickly recognize whether the professional is good at their job or not.
Right. To sum it, I don't know if this is available where you are. In the U.S., we have Angie's List. Have you heard of Angie's List?
No.
Okay, so I think it's a similar. It's not a publishing service, but it's a service where you can go and find people who are sort of
Right.
vetted and highly qualified, mostly to do like home repair stuff. So that to me is what Reedsy kind of feels like. It's a Angie's List for publishing, which may
Absolutely.
be wildly off, but I mean, I think that's kind of the gist. So
No, that's absolutely it. It's absolutely it. You can come in and so try to make it really easy. You select 5 editors who kind of match your genre and your book, and you send them a brief, and you hear back from them within 48 hours. That's kind of a rule for them.
yeah,
They send you quotes if they're available and if they're interested, and then you can compare, you can have a chat, you can work with them on the platform. And everything obviously is kind of protected and guaranteed by us. So if there's any kind of delay or if the work's not done or things like that, obviously we're kind of guarantors of that.
yeah. And you guys, part of your service is publicity and marketing, right?
Yeah, we started those more recently, and I gotta tell you, it's impossible to find a really good book marketer.
Yes, it is.
At least a lot of them.
Trust me, I know. Yeah, that's. I may actually. I mean, I need to come on and start using you guys for stuff like this. Honestly, I mean, I have enough trouble, and everybody does. Every author, marketing is the thing that's toughest. And for me, it's a sort of cobbler's kids, have no shoes kind of situation, because, marketing is what I do for Draft to Digital. But when it comes to my own marketing, I'm not quite as on the point as I need to be. But you guys offer an ability to connect with some professionals who can help with that. That's awesome. And every author needs that. Every author.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think we feature 10 or 12 marketers on the marketplace, and they're really good.
Yeah.
It's just that, finding them is hard, because all the people who start to know and understand how to market books, instead of kind of doing that freelance, they launch a course and make you pay quite a bit of money for the course. And often the courses are really good.
Yeah.
But that means we don't have a lot of book marketers on the marketplace. That said, they're pretty good. They're generally people who work with 3 to 5 authors at any given time. They're more than virtual assistants in that they know about pretty much everything there's to know about marketing for books. Some of them obviously are going to have specializations either in genre or in kind of marketing channels, and especially advertising platforms. We've got a guy in the UK who's just amazing at Amazon ads for nonfiction. Like, he's built
nice.
dollar business mostly thanks to that.
That's very cool. Yeah, and you guys have some top talent though. I mean, I'm looking at your list right now, like folks from who've worked with Penguin Random House, which is difficult for me to say, but is an impressive credential. That sort of thing. So everyone listening, by the way, if you do marketing services for authors, maybe you should try to get into this since there's a need. So speaking of that, though, how do you vet the people who are in your service?
It's a $1 million question. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for designers. So we've got kind of our own design team that spots whether a cover designer is going to be good or not in their genre. For editors, it gets more complicated. So we look at the work experience, as you mentioned. Most of the editors on our marketplace come from traditional publishing, and often the big 5 when it's for literary fiction or genre fiction. Because if there's one thing that traditional publishing still does right, it's kind of the production of the book. Like, the book's more often than not going to be well edited, well designed, and there can be exceptions, but still the talent they have is still the right one.
Yeah.
And then becomes more complicated, obviously, for marketing. So for marketing, we take a look at the books I've worked on, the campaigns I've worked on. We've had to refuse quite a few marketers who worked for traditional publishing exclusively, because, I mean, Reedsy work mostly within the authors, especially on the marketing side of things, and we want people to be familiar with the indie marketing techniques. So Amazon SEO, Facebook ads, Amazon ads.
Right.
All things book promotion sites. So that's where, for marketers, I personally, or my co-founder, has a chat with them. With every marketer we add to the marketplace, we have a 30-minute chat. We ask them how they work with clients, what are their specialties, and a few questions to kind of test them.
Yeah. Yeah, you almost want the sort of the internet marketing group, the not necessarily that they're author marketers or marketing for authors, but the folks who just completely understand everything about internet marketing, from SEO to ads, pay-per-click schemes and profiles and campaigns and all that stuff. I mean, that seems like that would be much more valuable than the traditional marketers.
Definitely. We're adding a lot of people like that who come from kind of a digital marketing background, and they wrote a book and they were like, why do authors not know how to market books? So they started being a book marketer, and we have them on the platform. So there's sometimes this way around. You're a marketer and you start writing. Right. But more often than not, it's the other way around, and you need a marketer.
Yeah. It's interesting. Marketing is a weird subject, and we're not going to spend the whole episode talking about marketing because I know that's not entirely your bag. But it's a relief to me though to see that you guys offer help in that area, because it's the biggest pain point that indie authors in particular have. Like, we offer some cool tools to help you promote yourself, but if you don't have a basic understanding of marketing, is particularly modern digital marketing, you're kind of spinning your wheels. So I'm glad to see there's a resource I can start referring people to, Not that I wasn't referring people to you before, but I mean, not specifically for marketing yet. So that's cool to know. So, okay, you've got folks on staff that help you vet the rest of the services you said, right? Like cover design and that sort of thing. So what are some of the things that you have to do to prepare an author when they come in for, say, cover design or layout or something like that?
Well, there's a lot. Since we started Reedsy, we've discovered that we'd have to spend most of our time on kind of education for authors. So when they come in, depending on what they look at the marketplace, we're going to send them kind of emails with just resources which we've built over the years. So there's a lot of articles on our blog. We have a whole section on book design, tips on kind of how to design a book cover, what working with a book cover designer should be like, how to get the most out of it. We've got a blog post on formatting, on what book interior design and book structure should be like, what front matter is, what back matter is. Right, I feel like no one knows what should go into the front and the back matter of books, especially in nonfiction. Right. And after so my co-founder wrote a post on that, and I think he read 10 different articles and 10 of them said different things. Yeah. So we found kind of a good compromise. So we do a lot of posts. We also have a section on the website called Reedsy Learning, which is a selection of, I think now 20 free courses on writing, editing, publishing, and marketing.
Which I owe you. I owe you a course, I know.
For distribution, direct digital, coming soon.
I've owed you a course for quite some time now, so I'm going to make myself a note.
Please do. Your video won't be featured on our landing page if I don't get that course.
Perfect. All right. So author education is it's tricky because on the one hand, you're there to offer the author that service, but if they don't know anything at all about what they're getting into, then it makes it much more difficult for them to get the right thing for them, the right tool or right resource for them. So I hear you, man. Author education is something like that's basically my whole career is author education. I've sort of discovered.
Yeah, anyone in the industry, I think we started. I mean, the first question I ask authors when they get on the marketplace, send them an email asking what they're writing, and usually from their answer to that, I can start guessing what they know and what they don't know and what kind of resources to point them to. Yeah. But it's, author education. But it's because self-publishing is actually quite complicated. Yeah. Like, obviously, we try to make it sound like it's simple and it's empowering, and it definitely is. But still, there's a learning curve and there's a lot of things to know about it. Right. You don't need to be, obviously, a designer and an editor and a marketer and all that necessarily. You can hire people, but you should still know how all these things work because you're running a business.
Right. When I used to work in film and TV, and one of the things I did was I kind of went through the ranks and did all the jobs. I was a grip, I was a lighting tech, I operated a camera, I did all that stuff, even though my ultimate job was going to be, writing and directing. And the benefit of that was knowing how all those pieces work together. Even though that wasn't going to be my job, I knew the job. Like I knew how to tell when I was getting ripped off, or how to tell when something wasn't quite right, and I could move the pieces a little better. And that's the same thing you're talking about with authors, I think.
Absolutely. It's exactly that. So we try to provide kind of as much knowledge for free. Everything we do outside of our marketplace of kind of having editors and designers and marketers is free. So we provide knowledge for free so that authors kind of understand how publishing works and understand also that they're going to need an editor, they're going to need a designer, they might need a marketer. And then when they work with these people, they know why they're working with them and they know how to get the most out of the collaborations.
That's very cool. Yeah. So, okay. So what's the one thing you think authors need the most education for? I mean, what's the topic they need the most education about?
I think it's definitely marketing in terms of education.
Okay.
There's another spot where it's not necessarily education, but it's kind of realizing and accepting that you're not the right person to judge it. It's the book cover.
Yeah.
I just have a constant fight, not an open fight, a silent fight with authors around book covers and them not realizing that they're just not good enough, professional enough, or not right for their genre.
Yeah.
And so we do kind of a monthly cover critique, which is a Facebook Live where we get one of our designers to just man our Facebook page. We get authors to send us their covers in advance, and the designer critiques kind of 5 to 10 covers during the session. So that kind of helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the message pretty sunk in that editing is vital, especially for first-time authors, developmental editing, copy editing, proofreading. Everyone kind of knows the importance of those things. Then it's your call about whether you want to hire people for it or not. But I think the importance of cover design, despite everyone talking about it, still hasn't struck.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't know. I think everybody thinks, well, I know what pretty pictures look like, or something along those lines. Everyone kind of falls into the mental trap of, I can recognize a good cover. I see covers all the time.
Exactly.
So yeah, I will tell you, I think it's very cool that you guys offer that critique session, which is just amazing. There's a part of me that kind of wants to throw my covers in there, and then another part of me is like, I'm good. I don't want to know if I'm accidentally screwing this up. I've been doing this for so long now, and my covers do pretty well. Okay. But, I don't want to hear the critiques, I think. Don't ask, and you won't be slammed. Now, I may have to do that just for the heck of it one day. Throw in some of my covers and see what you guys say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, but they're pretty gentle. They're often British-based designers, so they're gonna
not crass Americans.
No, exactly. That's
gun-toting Texans who take you down a notch. Yeah, that's cool, man. So, what would you say? What's sort of the most used or most popular service on Reedsy?
I think it's our free courses now, Reedsy Learning.
Oh, okay.
We've got 15,000 students enrolled and taking courses, and we launched that in October of last year. So that's in just 4 or 5 months.
That's very cool. Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's still our marketplace. I haven't talked at all about our free formatting tool because I know Drafted Digital does free conversion as well.
You can talk about it, man. I don't mind. I mean, we do that, but we're not sticklers for it. I mean, we mostly we offer free tools and free services to help the author and to get them, into our system so that they can use us for distribution. If they don't ever do that, that's fine. But yeah, you can talk about it all you want, man. There's no competition here.
No, I know. But it's not. No, it is a very popular service as well. It's basically like it's very similar to Vellum for all the people who know what Vellum is.
Yeah.
Except it's free, it's browser based, so you don't need to be on a Mac, and you don't need to download an app, and it's less advanced than Vellum in the sense that you can't personalize the book that much. Like there's not 1,000 options for scene breaks, drop caps, 1,000 templates available. There's like 3 templates available.
Yeah.
However, it's much more advanced than Vellum right now in that it does print on demand.
Oh, that's very cool. Really? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it out. I mean, we do print on demand. We're not real happy with how it's going yet. We're improving it. It's about to be rolled out with a brand new version. So, but I'm always looking for an easier way to do print.
It's very hard. I mean, it took us quite a bit of time to build it, and even upgrading it, adding more templates. Like generating an EPUB is widely different from generating a POD, print on demand, print ready file that's properly typeset.
Right.
And also add support for different trim sizes, make sure there are no widows or orphans or things like that. So trying to do that all automatically, it's possible. And we think, like, it's our philosophy to think that it should be free because it's not technologically impossible. But yeah, it's been a piece of work, and it's starting to look very, very, very good and very professional. So I encourage people to try it.
Man, that's very cool. I can't tell you how much time I spend on print layout. So much so that I delay releasing print editions, like sometimes months after I release the digital edition.
Oh, wow.
Which I know is wrong. I know that's wrong. But when you make 99% of your income from digital books, you kind of, don't feel much pressure to do print.
That's true.
So, well, that's cool, man. So you guys, another thing that you guys offer that I have not tried, I've just kind of seen it and I've heard some chatter about it, but you actually have a writing tool built into the service, right?
Yeah, that's the.
Am I misinformed, or is that cool?
No.
Okay.
That's actually the formatting tool. So the vision for it is to become kind of a writing and formatting tool and editing tool.
Okay.
So right now you can write your book on it. You can kind of organize your book. There's a sidebar with chapters and parts. You can drag and drop the chapters and the parts. It's a bit like Scrivener, but much nicer design and less functionalities. Because the more functionalities you add, and the worse the design gets usually.
Yeah. I love Scrivener, by the way, and I love Ulysses. Those are 2 great apps, but they both have features that I'm probably never going to use, and it weighs on me, even though I'm not going anywhere near them. It's like it's there and it's just staring at me, making me feel inferior. So.
Yeah, it's like you're not using the tool's full potential,
Right, exactly right. Yeah, and I don't want to. So, sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, we keep it. It's a completely different philosophy. Basically, it's the same philosophy as Medium, the blogging tool.
Yeah.
Even if they're not doing that well, but their design's still awesome.
Yeah.
So it's very clean, not a lot of features, simple formatting bar. You can't change millions of things like you could on Word. It's just a tool built for books that does most of the stuff automatically. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, because we don't allow authors to kind of create crazy formatting and create crazy stuff in there, we control the formatting from the start to the end. And that's what allows us to offer free formatting to both EPUB and print on demand afterwards.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we recommend that authors write their books wherever they want, not necessarily on Reedsy, that they come to us for the final stages, at least to this tool for the final stages, the formatting and the typesetting for EPUB and print on demand. The vision is then to incorporate track changes and commenting tools to that book editor, add a timeline as well. so that it auto-saves different versions of your book, and you can revert back and things like that, a bit like Time Machine in Mac.
Yeah. I was going to ask if the editors have access to, if they're able to have access to your manuscript if you do it through this. Are they?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Yeah.
That's the plan.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So we as a formatting tool, and in the next few months, it's going to become writing tool. It's going to become an editing tool, collaborative tool, and hopefully everything will stay on Reedsy and everyone will want to work with their editors on Reedsy.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I love the whole concept because you really are kind of a one-stop shop. I mean, you're getting there.
We don't do distribution. We will not do
and don't do that.
I know. God.
That's what we're for, man. That's why we have these
exactly.
sort of unofficial partnerships. We can refer each other. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of authors, here's what's funny. When we get manuscripts, and I can't speak too much to this. I'm not in customer support or anything. I don't see this stuff daily like they do. But we'll get people who they have problems with the manuscript, with the cover. Not necessarily technical problems every time either. Sometimes, and books get rejected for content sometimes. They never get rejected for layout or any of that necessarily. But what happens is if it gets all the way through, then they start getting reader complaints about layout, and then they panic. Our layout is really clean, but if you upload your own version of your manuscript and don't use our conversion tool, then there's no check system there.
Right.
So, sir, I think if more people used, your service, for example, especially the editing, man. I mean, editing is, alongside cover, it's the biggest need an author has, at least in terms of producing the book. Marketing is a whole other category of needs. So, really excited to see you guys embracing that.
So what? So. Me too.
I mean, you clearly have sort of a philosophy. I'm curious about sort of the origins of the company now. Like, how did you actually? We probably should have chronologically. We should have done this first, but now I want to know, what prompted you to even create Reedsy? What are its origin stories?
So we're a couple of friends at business school, and we were just readers. So we're not writers. We don't come at this from the writer's perspective, identifying a problem. We're just readers, starting to kind of read on digital formats back when they kind of started.
Right.
And we heard about self-publishing back when self-publishing started. And we thought, okay, that's awesome. It's empowering to the authors, but if they self-publish their books, obviously there's more to publishing a book than writing it. Who does the editing, who does the design. And so we came up with this crazy idea of building a marketplace, a freelance marketplace of really top people to help the authors create their books. Basically make all the publishing talent that's available to traditional publishing companies, make it available to indie authors so that they can compete with the traditional publishing companies in terms of the quality of the production.
Yeah.
And it's just an idea that we worked on for a year, just interviewing people in the industry, both from indie and trad publishing, and trying to validate the idea, and then finding other co-founders, found Matt, our designer, Vincent, our developer, and we just, step by step, it became a company.
Yeah, it's that's interesting. Now I want to know how because you're adding new features. How are you determining what needs to go on your task list?
Well, there's two types of features which we add. Most of the stuff we add to the product, we've planned it almost since the very beginning. It was always our idea to start with a curated marketplace, then add more services progressively. So we started with editing and design because these are the must-haves. You need editing and design if you're going to release a book.
Yeah.
Then we added marketing and publicity. Then we added ghostwriting because a lot of publishing companies asked us for it. And now we're about to add website designers and developers, so people to do author websites typically.
Oh, very cool.
Yep. and afterwards we might get into translation. And on the side, we've been building the Reedsy book editor with the vision that I mentioned, turning it into a collaborative tool that integrates with the marketplace so that kind of everything stays on Reedsy. So that's been the kind of the roadmap for the product since the very beginning. And then we do a bunch of more marketing initiatives, like Reedsy Learning or a blog or our Facebook Lives and all things like that to kind of, well, they all have the same goal, educating authors, as we talked about.
Yeah, that's very cool. I just dig your mission, man. I mean, everything about what you guys are doing is pretty awesome. And you've grown quite a bit. When did you start? When did the company start?
We started the company late 2014.
Okay. I mean, that's not record growth or anything, so that's pretty amazing, man. 2014. I mean, basically in the span of an average American high school career, you guys built a company that's just blowing it up for indie authors. So that's minorly impressive, I guess.
It's all right. We need to.
Yeah, that's cool. So, and it's interesting that you came at this not as authors.
I think it's actually important, yeah. I mean, there was a bit of reluctance in the very early stages of the company, saying you're not authors, you're not from a publishing background. But I think it's actually important to come in an industry with an outsider's view, especially if you're going to design a product that's a bit kind of, new to it, or revolutionizing or disrupting or whatever term you want to use. Because you want to build something that doesn't exist already, and that's going to take a lot of inspiration from outside the publishing world and bring it to the publishing world.
Yeah.
So obviously there are risks, but I think it actually helped.
Yeah, I could see how it would. I mean, the flip side of that is always, like our company, we were founded in part by an author who saw needs for himself and also for other authors. And so that's important. But I do like that perspective. I think I interviewed Simon Whistler from the Rocking Self-Publishing podcast.
Yeah.
He was the one, I think, who told me that, it's basically the fact that he doesn't know a lot about the topic is what makes him a good interviewer of authors, because there's questions he has that, he's not going to take any of the information for granted. He has to go out and learn and grow. I think that's kind of the perspective you guys are getting at, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spent a whole year interviewing people and kind of making sure there was a need. Because it's true, when you come from outside, maybe you're going to design a great product that looks great and works great, but people don't need. So we spent a lot of time making sure that people would need it.
Yeah. Do you continue that kind of research now?
We do, but at the same time, I've spent 3 years kind of talking to authors, emailing with authors, writing about publishing, marketing, things like that. So I feel a lot more like an insider now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, obviously we keep listening to what authors say, and every new service we add is because there's people who tell us that they're looking for that. Or lately I wrote a course on Amazon ads a few months after AMS was available in the US. Just because I knew that everyone was starting to use it and not everyone was having success with it. So I thought, okay, let's dig into it, use them myself for some of the authors I know, and kind of write a course for it. So it's available on Reedsy Learning now. It's pretty good.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah, it's free.
Man, nobody stands a chance with you guys around. Charge for courses and that sort of thing. That's awesome, though. And that's exactly, I think, there's that adage that information wants to be free. I think it was the guy who created Linux, one of the guys who created Linux, or Red Hat Linux or something. And I may be totally wrong about that, and I know people are already emailing me to correct me. But the premise of that, I think, is accurate. It's that we live in an information age, we live in a knowledge age where everything is available to us and should be, so that we can stop creating barriers to knowledge and start using knowledge to create something new and innovative in the world. I think that's essentially what you guys are doing, right?
Yeah, it's one of our missions. At the same time, there's a lot of kind of knowledge available out there. There's millions of blog posts, so
Yeah.
it's also our mission to kind of curate it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whenever we write a course, make it really simple. I mean, our courses are just 10 emails of 500 words. So it's like over 10 days, you receive an email in the morning. It's 5-minute read. You can digest over coffee. And obviously, you can keep them in your inbox and go to them later on. But the idea is to give them you just the pointers you need to start delving into Amazon ads and doing your own testing, or give you just enough, information to then also know which resources to look at for more information.
Right.
So I think there's also the problem of too much information available, and we try to curate it and keep things as simple and as short as possible, which is really hard.
Yeah, no, I know. Okay. All right, man. Well, when we're kind of coming up, I don't want to keep you too long. But I feel like I should just reiterate how appreciative I am of what this service is, what this company is. You guys are just incredible. I will admit, I did not know that much about you before you and I met at NINC. And dug in a little bit more after that. But I'm very excited to see what you guys are doing and the growth you have. It's just incredible.
Yeah, no, and I'm also admirative of what Drift to Digital does. So I'm glad we met.
We
at
don't.
NINC.
I mean, we don't have to kiss each other on air, man. That's fine.
That's true.
I mean, you guys are doing great work, and I think it's a good fit actually. Draft to Digital and Reedsy.
It is. That's why.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm not just saying that as a D2D guy or whatever, but it is. If you out there, the authors out there, if you're listening, this is a great way to kind of encompass the entirety of your career with a couple of services, most of which are free. I mean, most of what we offer is free, which is just unheard of. So go check it out. So
check us out.
Exactly. All right. So, okay. I'm going to let you get back to your regularly scheduled life, man. And I do appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. So tell everybody where they can find more about you and Reedsy online.
Absolutely. So you can find Reedsy at reedsy.com. That's our main landing page. From there, you're going to see there's a little tab called Book Editor at the top. And that's going to direct you to our free writing and formatting tool. If you Google Reedsy Learning, you'll find all our free courses on book publishing, book marketing, the Amazon Ads course, all that. And me, I'm available at all times at ricardo@reedsy.com, my email address. You can drop me a line, any questions, any things. I always try to answer.
Excellent, man. All right. Hey, one quick question I did not ask earlier about the book editor. And then I'll wrap us up. But it's browser based, so is it available on mobile as well as on desktop platforms?
Absolutely. We do a lot of testing on all kinds of mobile, so it should work there. And if it doesn't, drop me a line. But yeah, it is available there.
Man, all right. I may have just sold a few thousand people on you with that alone. So, all right, man. Okay, everybody listening now, everything he just said as far as I may not print your email address on the thing. I don't want you getting spammed or whatever. Okay. But for the websites and that sort of thing, you can find that in the show notes. Otherwise, you can email me if you got a question or you need me to follow up for you on your behalf with Ricardo. I'm happy to do that. And thank you so much, Ricardo, for being on the show, man. You guys have an amazing service. I'm happy to plug you every chance I get. So. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for inviting me.
All right. Everybody else, stay tuned, and I'll do a quick wrap-up after the show, and otherwise I will see everybody next week. Welcome back to the jarringly lower quality wrap-up for the show. Oh, man. I'm so sorry, everybody. I work really hard to make sure the show is as high quality as I'm capable of producing. And I do, it is a warts and all show. I mean, I don't make apologies for technical glitches and that sort of thing. I do kind of show how the sausage is made, just so that you, you get an authentic experience. I want you to know that this is an authentic show. So maybe this is just part of that. So, now I'm really enjoying the the conference I'm at right now, and I'm meeting some really interesting people here actually. And here's what's really cool to me. I've been to, I don't know, 100 conventions, right? And so far, somehow, some way, I run into a Word Slinger podcast listener at every convention, and it always takes me by surprise because, this is my first time at SIFWA. I've never been to this convention before, um, and I've been to Pittsburgh before, but I've never been to this convention. So it's interesting to me to bump into somebody. I ran into Rekha J. She's a science fiction author. Now you're going to start hearing about her because she's well. Let's just start with she's connected with a I guess it's a small press publisher called Parvus, Parvus. That's being run by Colin Coyle. I just want to shout out to both of these two because I've run into them here. Now, Colin is not a listener yet, but I'm going to convert him. But Rekha is. So, hi, Rekha, and I really appreciate it. And now, she confessed that she sticks around to the end. So, that's why I put this at the end. So, hello, Rekha. And right now, you are doing more important things than listening to this podcast, but you'll get around to it. So I appreciate running into you and our conversation, and I wish you the very best luck, even though you're going slightly non self pub. I think you're doing the hybrid thing, and I think that's awesome. I think you're going to have an amazing career. I cannot wait to see your name at the top of like the New York Times bestsellers list. So let's get you there. So anyway, hello, and for anyone else who's here at the show that I may not have run into yet, I hope I do. It's by the time you hear this, it may be too late to look me up, but it's going live while I'm still here. So if you happen to be an avid podcast listener and cannot live without your word slinger, even while at the Nebula Awards, say hi. In fact, please say hi because you're a unique individual. You're a unicorn that I want to meet. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but today, let me just put it this way. I'm having a rough time right now. I'm having sort of this, I've been a little down, okay? And this happens from time to time. I get what I call in a closed mood, where it's very difficult for me to interact with other people for a bit. Maybe it's just my introvert tanking. Because I was at Comic Palooza last weekend for the entire weekend, peopling, and then I didn't have much of a break between then and flying to Pittsburgh and doing more peopling. So I may just be at the end of my introvert rope. My extroverting has overcome me. So I may just need some quiet time and rest. But I've been a little down. But the thing is, I keep bumping into people like Rekha, like Dan, who are just such an encouragement and inspiration to me because of what they're doing, because of their attitude, because of the excitement they have for their careers and for their lives. And I run into a lot of you folks here and there. You may not always say something to me. You may not always say something encouraging to me or whatever. But I mean, you just the spirit of your existence, just the life and energy of your existence, can sometimes be enough to help remind me why I do the stuff I do. So I'm at this exact moment, I'm feeling very grateful to everyone. I'm always feeling grateful for you guys, but I feel very grateful and very honored and very blessed to have each of you in my life, in whatever capacity. The career path that I'm on. I mean, I said it earlier. I'm a writer first. It's the thing I want to do with my life, and other things, other aspects of my life, other jobs. I mean, they're great. They're beneficial. They're a ministry of sorts. They're the things I do because I feel like I'm giving back and representing, But the real passion of my life is my writing, and because of you and the people that I connect with and the readers that I have and that sort of thing, I move closer and closer to my goals for my writing career every day. Sometimes it seems a little slow, Sometimes I get discouraged. But on those days, I'm going to try to do this much more often, but I try to remember that you're out there. that you care. You care enough to listen to this show. You care enough to read my books. You care enough to say kind things. That means a lot to me. So thank you, and God bless you. I really appreciate what you do. I hope that what I do brings some value to your life, brings some information maybe you can use in your own career, in your own life. That is the goal of this show. Kind of one of the goals of my life. So I hope that we are benefiting each other in a community. Anyway, so now I feel a little better. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Next time I should have a better microphone. And you know what I'm going to do once I'm done today, once I'm done posting this show, I've got some free time here this morning. If I can, I think I'm going to figure out a way to, I don't know, I'm going to build a portable rig for doing exactly this to make this easier. So I've got some ideas, but if you've got some ideas, float them my way. Go to wordslingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much. Oh, real quick, the housekeeping. If you want to support this show, I do appreciate everything you can do to support it. You can do that by going to wordslingerpodcast.com. If you want to support financially, that is always welcome. You can click on the Patreon logo there, and whatever amount you are willing to give. And I've had some folks do that recently. I should, real quick, look you up to give you a shout out. It's just been that kind of week. I did have Nate Hoffelder. I'm sorry, Nate. Nate Hoffelder has pledged, and I do appreciate that, man. Aloysius King, a great guy, by the way. If you don't follow, you need to follow him. You can find him on Twitter. I just like him. So, and Jason Cobley, I appreciate you for your support, man. So thanks a lot for that. Financial support does help. Every little bit helps with the overhead of the show. But you can also support the show. If you can't support it financially, you can go and find us on iTunes and other places, but iTunes particularly, and rate and rank the show. Just look up Wordslinger Podcast on iTunes or elsewhere. Stitcher, Google Play, anywhere where you are listening to the show, and leave a review. The reviews help. It helps people find the show. If you rate it, I would love 4 or 5 stars if you think it's worth that. And the greater the reach, the more people I can help, and that's the point. So anyway, thank you so much for all of that. Thank you for your emails, your phone calls, everything. God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you all next week.
Wordslinger.